Sure, a lot of you have heard about manifesting, creating, motivation, and so on. And I'm going to say those are all masculine ways of doing. I would say those are masculine qualities. Um, and to me, they don't feel natural. And I want to say it's one way of going through life. You want to manifest something, you want to do a vision board, you want to create something, you want to be in action and doing. Um, Along with that, yeah, I would say that's a very masculine mindset, which is fine. You can do all that. There is another way of going through life, which is by flowing, receiving, um, more you still creating things and making things happen and allowing things, yet there it's coming from it's coming from inside of you rather than you trying to make something happen from your mind. It's kind of rising from inside of you. Does that make sense? Let me give you some examples. So a common thing, for example, would be to manifest or create or have a vision board. Say that you want to start a business, or you might be like, okay, um, or you have like, okay, I'll give my own example. Say that I went through a period in my life where I had so much free time, I was really bored. And I kept thinking, what should I create? What should I be doing with my life? What should I be doing? What should I be creating? And it took me 2 years. I kept going around telling people I'm bored with my life. What should I be doing? And it wasn't until I was just watching these YouTube videos, this coach called Lisa Romano, who coaches people who were abused by narcissists, I started getting really inspired. And I was like, she's a coach. I could be a coach. So it was just an inspiration that landed in me. I wasn't like, oh, I need to be a coach. Let me pursue that. It just came that way. And then I got interested and pursued it. Another example, I'm just going about my uh, life, and I meet this guy. This was years ago, and it's in my book, The Fuck List. The guy who actually inspired me to write the book because I was so sad when he didn't want to see me anymore. Well, he wanted to get married and have children. He was much younger than me, and he is married now. I was so sad, and I thought, I need something to help me get over this. I need something. I need something. What is it? I didn't create anything. People kept telling me, I kept hearing people had kept telling me to write a book, write a book, write a book. And that one day I was at my friend's play. She was doing a one woman play, it was in Santa Monica. And afterward, I went up to her and she said, Sharzad, you should write a book. I'm like, that's it. And then one of my friends was like, yeah, you should write a book called The Fuck List that next day. And off I went. And that came by people who kept telling me, and also before people kept telling me, you should be a coach. So it wasn't me trying to make something happen, it was more about me listening. Here's another example. My A few years ago, a couple people were following me on Instagram, men that I knew and I was messaging with them on there a little bit, were telling me that I should start an OnlyFans. I didn't even know what OnlyFans was. This was in 2019, I think. I'd never heard of OnlyFans. I looked it up. I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think I want to do porn. And they were like, yeah, you should try it. And I was always like up for trying new things. So I tried it and I consistently make a very good income on that. I wasn't like, oh my God, how can I start an OnlyFans? How can I start this? Even with the escort business, I was consulting for school districts, and one of my friends kept saying, "You should be an escort." I'm like, I did that for 6 months in my 20s. I'm a professional woman now, building my career. I'm in a consulting industry. I'm gonna like work my way up. I'm not gonna do that. And she kept saying, "You should be an escort." I'm like, no, no, I don't think so. And I'm so old, and I was arrested 3 times and all this. And then after I came out with the book, I knew I had to quit my job. I was briefly a stripper. I just felt like doing it, so I did it. It was just an impulsive idea that came out of me, and then that led to a guy asking me to see him after the club closed, and that led to a great appointment. And then I was like, maybe my friend is right. I should be a stripper. Um, I mean, an escort. And I started this, like, I have a great life with all these things: my escort business, my Just for Fans, my coaching business. And then, like, I want to learn how to work with couples. How can I learn that? So what I'm trying to say is the things that I like about my life are things that either I had this idea that came out of nowhere, like a desire that just I had a desire to do something, or I heard someone do something, I was inspired or interested in something. So I want to say the ideas came out of me or into me, rather than I need to make something happen. I need to make a vision board. I need to make something happen. I need to manifest something. I need to think of exactly what I want and then make it manifest. Like, even with this relationship thing now, I just closed the door. I'm like, God, if you want me to have a relationship, you'll bring that into my life. I'm tired. That's the whole online dating thing, is again me working for something, trying to make something happen, trying to meet men online. Like, I still have my profile out there, but I'm just kind of like, that's another thing that ought to just happen to me. When I met my ex-husband, I wasn't looking for a husband. I was just going to college, and he just kept coming up and talking to me. Um, so that's what I want to say. I think that um, you don't have to go around like, what do I want to create? You can just be open to ideas and open to inspiration. That's what I want to say. And in a related tone, that I remember Terry Real saying that he wrote a book for men about depression, yet it's just women reading the book. That women tend to be very interested in, like, not that men aren't, but mostly it's the women who are going to the meditation retreats and the yoga retreats and going into therapy and dragging their men into therapy and reading relationship books. While when it comes to improving ourselves, we tend to read more relational books, whereas men tend to read more mental based books, like how to get more motivated, how to sharpen your mind and your intellect. Um, that's more the masculine energy. That's what men seem to be more interested in, the stuff that's from the mental level. And where I think that we tend to be more, the feminine energy to me is more like tuning into the flowing receptivity to life level. And I think you can manifest or make like a happy life either way. What has really worked for me is not forcing things or trying to build things mentally, just to be, trust God to bring good things into my life. And that's, I feel like that's why I'm so happy. I feel like my life is tuned in with the universe. I'm supported in my life. For whatever reason, I feel like I feel supported. That's how I feel. And uh yeah, so also along with that, I have noticed that when I ask men what kind of books they like to read, well, that, you know, if you look at the videos online about guns and stuff, it's mostly men making them, hunting guns, machinery and cars, racing. Yet when it comes to books, men will often like biographies, historical biographies of settlers, pioneers, cowboys, presidents, and they like history. They like to read about war and conquest. And again, very mental things, I think, more, whereas I think women tend to like more relational things. Um, I know that some people are not into the masculine, feminine energy so much. I know we each have both. Yet I know that there are differences between men and women. And, just play around with your different energies. And, if you're a woman, like, have you read any, do you love reading books about the war? Do you have a huge biography of Abraham Lincoln on your counter? I remember being at this guy's apartment once years ago, and he had a huge biography of Jefferson, and he was getting his master's in history. He loved history. Uh, uh, he had been a pilot in the Air Force, and again, kind of very masculine things that he loved. I had no interest in reading that stuff, but I thought it was so cool that he was into that. I'm reading books about relationships. So what I wanted to say then is, if you're stuck in your life and you don't know what to do, I think that men will often, get out a list, like a to-do list. That's another man thing. My ex-husband always liked to have a to-do list. It gave him great comfort and assurance to know that he had things written down and he could go down one by one and do these things on the to-do list. I don't like to journal. I know a lot of women do. I don't like to make lists. I like to integrate and feel through things and have them flow through me and be a part of me. So I tend to be like, what feels right now? What do I feel called to do right now? And it's working for me. So it's working for me. Like last year I had the idea, I want to pay off my debts. And I paid off like a whole lot of debts. I paid them all off last year. And now I have a financial goal of a certain amount of money I have in my savings, and I've almost got there. So for me, it's more about, I have an idea that I don't have to make it happen. Like, I just have this idea. I was talking to a friend the other day, and she says that's how she does her life. And she goes, right now, if I were to say, I'm looking for a pair of red pants, I can guarantee you that by tomorrow they would appear somewhere in an ad or in a store. I just have an idea and it appears to me. I'd like you to consider that is a way of creating and turning your life into something really satisfying, that you have an idea and it just happens. By the way, I know yesterday I made a whole bunch of rant videos and I felt like I needed to just give voice to this insight that I had. But I'm over it now. Or rants about my ex-husband or how I was, people pleasing him and stuff like that. I'm ready to move on now. And thank you for watching my video.